Welcome to the Pulse Podcast here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins, Joey Krajewski, Connor Roush, and we got a couple special guests joining us on the program today. Let's see, Bryce and Brayden. Did I get that right? Yes, sir. Nice. Bryce and Brayden Roggow. I almost called you Brogo because I'm so used to hearing Ben Gillick say it. But hey, thanks for coming on with us, guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. So, guys, the reason why I wanted to have you guys on because we were there yesterday. Great game, obviously. Not exactly the best game for broadcast terms, but you guys had a great game. And the whole team, I mean, just you guys are showing out right now. You're playing your best baseball right now. I want to talk about this just a little bit. I mean, I don't want to talk about too much as far as like getting into baseball, that kind of stuff. I want this to be a loose format podcast, but I do want to talk about that game and just your mentality going into that because it seemed like you guys were locked in from the very beginning. And when we talked to Carson Malott after the game, he was like, yeah, we were looking at the next game already. We knew this isn't the game we wanted. We wanted the next one. You guys have got like a target on this next game for whatever reason. We'll talk about that next, but talk about your mentality going into that game against Wapakoneta. We'll start with you, Brayden.
All right. Hold on a second, guys. Check and see if that wireless mic is on. I'm not picking up the wireless one.
Which one?
The main one, the big one.
Yeah, it's on. Let me see. Let me check here. Yeah, it's on.
Huh.
Try it there.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Mm-mm. Barely giving me a little bit here. Talk right into it.
Bryce, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's barely jumping up here on this thing. So it's not. They gotta talk like right into it or something.
How did you guys prepare for it? What were you thinking going into it?
Go ahead and talk into that wireless one there, guys. Talk right into it.
Hello? We good?
No, I'm still not hearing it. That's weird. Yeah.
Wireless, bro.
Here a little bit.
We're still live, aren't
Yep.
we? That's cool.
It's all right. We have technical difficulties. It happens.
It almost seems like it's not
Right here. Yeah. Let me do something here. I'll switch out this microphone.
Dude, stop getting so nervous, dude. Switch out.
Not nervous, Bryce.
Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Hey, sometimes you just gotta take over. Shit work. All right, so guys, sorry about that. Once again, let's get back into it. Let's talk here. So I know we got a little bit off there, but let's get back into it. What was your mentality going into that Wapakoneta game? Because I mean, you guys were locked in.
Yeah, so honestly, it was a little disrespect because they came out with like rankings and our record was better than theirs, our league record was better than theirs, and they were ranked ahead of us in the state. And we were all kind of like just talking about it as a team, like how in the world people think this team's better than us, and like they beat, you know, some good teams, yeah, but like we thought we played in a tougher conference, and we kind of like got a little excitement when they pitched their ace in the district semifinal, and we were kind of confused because that kid they pitched was going to Finley, so Carson kind of knew him, and he thought he was going to pitch in the final, and then the kid they were going to pitch apparently sat like 90, 92, and he has arm problems apparently, and we got like the news in the morning that they were starting a freshman, and we kind of like we're like, yeah, we got this, dude.
Okay.
Coach Malott set up a BP on machine. There's a machine. We set it up to like 90 miles an hour in the morning, and we were all just raking off the machine. We're like, yeah, like this is our game. And then we got there, and they were talking from the rip, like during batting practice. They were talking to us, and we're like, all right, dude. We're like, all right. We're like,
they gotta poke the bear before the game even starts.
Like, come on. And then anytime we got Carson Malott on the mound, I feel like we had the best chance to win. I mean, that kid is so good, and that was the most dialed in. I've caught him my whole life, and that was like the most dialed in I've ever seen Carson.
Oh man, that curveball was nasty. It was
they wanted no part
snapping.
of it.
But no, I'm watching that game, and like you said, they pitched their ace the game before.
Yeah.
And we're watching this game, and you know, Grant Jolly, don't get me wrong, he had some good stuff in the first inning, but he kind of started to fall off there in the second, and you guys really started to pick up his stuff. But I was confused. I'm looking at the numbers from the game before, and I think Bauer was his name, right? he played left field for him in a game, but I'm looking at this numbers: 7 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 1 hit from the day before. I'm like, why didn't they pitch this guy tonight? What's going on?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
it didn't make much sense to me, but maybe they kind of overlooked you guys. Do you really like?
No, I think they didn't respect us at all. They wrote FTC in their stones on their side of there, and like one of our parents saw it and went and told Coach Malott, and Coach Malott that fueled him, and we were that energetic as like we could ever be, like in the dugout, like we were live in the dugout. Everything that like we did, we were cheering for, and it was awesome.
That'll light the fire for sure.
Yeah.
So, you guys have been around the game for a while, and Bryce, I want to talk to you a little bit. I mean, how long have you guys been playing this game together?
Before kindergarten, yeah.
Wow.
And then, so me and him being younger, sophomores, everyone else being like juniors and seniors, we kind of like, it was me and him for a while, and then we got to playing with like Carson, Jaden, and it, like we really gelled. And ever since like 7th grade, we've been playing summer ball and like school ball with each other. So like we have like a unique like chemistry with one another where it just like it shows on the field.
You guys feed off of each other. It's
Absolutely.
really evident. Like when somebody in that lineup gets a hit, like a clutch hit in a clutch situation, it feels like the next guy comes up and he doesn't want to let the rest of the team down. You know, he's trying to go up and get that same clutch hit and bring that guy home.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you guys feed off each other.
Yeah.
We talk about that chemistry that you guys have. You talked about it from, you started as a kindergartner, now you're all the way up here. You're as a sophomore now, but these guys are seniors. How do you develop that chemistry being so young? And I mean, obviously, you guys probably look up to these guys being seniors, but you guys are integral parts of the offense and defense. You guys play a great role on this team. How do you guys get used to that role and kind of, I guess, acclimate yourselves into that role?
I think it was honestly like our families. Like my dad played slow pitch softball with Carson's dad, and then we're all just like great. Like the families just bond together. Like we at tournaments in summer, we'd all just be together, and like there was never like animosity towards anyone. We all wanted to see each other succeed, and I think the family part of it is so big for us. Like just being together and like always wanting the best for each other was like really big for us growing up, and like our families put no pressure on us to be anything that we weren't. So like they never expected us to like go 4 for 4 every game, but like they always taught us the right way to play. And I think that once we developed as like men, we kind of like, this is how it's done. We've done our whole lives. Why not just keep doing it?
Now, Bryce, I've seen you pitch a couple of dynamite games this year, and I mean, Brayden, you're the quarterback for the team. Bryce, I wasn't expecting that from you. We're watching these games, and I'm like, this kid's got a heck of an arm, man. Now, did you ever play any quarterback when you were growing up, or is this just you always are the quarterback, you're always the receiver?
Yeah. So in 8th grade, our coach Tony Gooding came up to me in a summer practice one day. He's like, "Hey, just let you know you're going to be the backup quarterback because we're basically the same as your brother." So he's like, "If he ever goes down, you're our guy." And I had a couple snaps, but he's never let me shine over him.
All right, fair enough. But no, I mean, you've got a great arm. Talk about your development this year. Did you pitch a lot last year as well?
Yeah.
So like, how many starts have you had this year?
This year, counting Saturdays, I had 8 starts.
Nice.
So
You put together a solid season.
yeah, I mean, I've struggled at points, but I also feel like I've stepped up in ways from last year to be able to like grow upon that. So like I feel like I've done pretty well.
Now, do you think that obviously you put a lot into this yourself, but how much do you credit to coaching? Because obviously you guys have a great coaching staff. Kurt Malott and the rest of those guys on that staff just do a great job of getting you guys mentally prepared for these games.
Absolutely. So Coach Malott, like we said, he's been coaching us our whole year, and then last year he wasn't the head coach, but he was still like a part of it. You know what I mean? And then this year coming back, he's been nothing but like supportive. Always been on like trusting in us to do what we want to do, and like he's always there for us. So I feel like that's a big part when you have that support from not just your head coach, but your entire coaching staff. I feel like that plays a big role in our success.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, Joey, you've had a little bit of success. I mean, you coached these guys for a couple of years now. Talk about your experience with, tell me a little bit about what it's like to coach these
man.
guys.
It's a blast. I mean, because like you said, with Bryce not playing quarterback, in practice you would think he's a quarterback. I mean, it's nonstop. But no, the coolest thing about these two is they're young, but they act and they take on responsibilities like adults, and that's the most important thing. Even when I'm talking to people, or like when we were calling the game and stuff like that, like the way these two approach the game, not just baseball, football, but life, they approach the game like adults. They take care of their bodies. They do what's right. And I mean, they're just, you guys are fun to be around, obviously. And you guys are good chirpers too. I like to chirp and talk smack and stuff like that. But no, the best thing about these two is right before a football game, right? We get in these stretching lines, and I always say like a little different thing to each kid, but like pregame wise, Bryce is calm and relaxed. But once we get in those stretching lines, it's like a flip with a switch, and you just see like not like anger, but he's like, I'm ready to go kill someone.
Game on.
Yeah.
Game on.
Yep. Love it. And then once you like it, we get down towards the end, we're doing like the pride jacks and stuff like that, and then you see like Brayden turn it on, and it's like, all right, it's go time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, I mean, you guys, you've had some experiences with Joey. Now I'm going to turn the tables on you.
Oh,
Talk
man.
about him as a coach a little bit. I mean, obviously you've only had a little bit of experience with him, but just in your time with him,
I remember last summer.
anything you want to share? You know?
Last summer, he came to the coaching staff, and like I was hearing like from our quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, he was like, "Yeah, this kid's like really brilliant, super smart kid, but he's a kid too. Like he's gonna gel with you guys." And I remember the first day, I was like, "This dude's awesome." Like I was like, "This dude I can get along with," and like the stretching line stuff like is big for me. Like he like always comes up and like hypes me up, and I'm like, that's when I tap in. I'm like, let's go, and he always knows what to say. Like he's never like, like putting any like pressure on you. He's always like hyping you up, and he's never gonna like get down on you. Like he always knows what to do because he's been in situations just like us, and it's really cool to be around. Like to have the veteran coaching staff, and then like just like towards the end, like it's him. He's like one of us, and it's super cool.
That's cool. So we're talking a little bit about football here, but let's shift our focus, go back to baseball. I know we're all over the place here, but talk about the difference in mentality when you go into these games. Do you take a different approach going into a baseball game than you do a football game? Because obviously you got to get a different mindset for football. You got to go in as a warrior, but like you almost have to have that same mentality as a baseball player, right?
Yeah.
How do you go into these games?
So for me, like football, like I feel like I can't be panicked because like as the quarterback, everyone kind of looks at you, and they don't want, like if you're panicked, they're gonna panic. So like I feel like being calm, but also being intense at the same time is very important. But in baseball, like catching too, like you're the leader of the field. So I take like kind of the same approach. Like I get like have my little fun time before games, but then there comes a certain time where you gotta like realize it's go time, and it's kind of the same approach, just like ready to go and like do what it takes.
Is there anything that you do in particular, Bryce?
Depending on like if I'm pitching or not, I have different like routines and stuff, like certain music I listen to and stuff like that, or a different stretching program. But
What's your hype song right now? Like right now,
Right
what's
now?
your go-to?
this is tough.
I'm putting you on the spot. Give a couple of them. You know how to just not.
Probably my walk-up song "Without Me" by Eminem.
There you
Love
go.
it.
That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
I listen to that.
Love it.
But it's different for me because like baseball is a game of instinct and reacting. So like football, like it's a lot of game planning and like understanding what you're gonna do the next play. Like baseball, you don't know what's gonna happen next play, so you always got to be on your toes and like ready to go for what may happen.
That's a good breakdown. I like that. That's actually really smart there. So Connor, I mean, you're a baseball guy. You've been around the baseball game a little bit. You got any questions for these guys?
I mean, you guys kind of knocked it out pretty good.
Yeah.
A few questions would be how's the preparation for you guys and the chemistry for the team? Like how are you guys? You work real well and work together, help each other, and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So our preparation, like it really doesn't change throughout if we're playing like a really good team or like a not so great team. But I mean, we always want to win. Carson said this after the game Saturday. He's like, we wanted to win 100-0, right? But that didn't happen. He's like,
Let's talk about goals right there.
he's like that. He goes, sometimes that just doesn't happen. He's like, so we have to fight our way, and like battle out sometimes. And then you have games like Sunday where
Everything goes
you're going in thinking this could be a test, and then just absolutely take over and just like steamroll them. Like that's when baseball becomes fun. Like you're out there. It's a game. Our coaches have always reminded us of that. Guys, don't put any pressure on yourself. Like this is a game. You got to remember that. So like that's where the preparation comes into it. Like we're playing a game. So like just go out there and have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And for having a great season you guys are having, you're what, 21 or 22-4, state ranked all season. Did coach keep you guys in mind, like, don't worry about what the state ranked is, like go into each game and play 1-0, like we're going 1-0 that game, and just kind of surrounding yourself in a bubble, not worrying about everything else like stats and statistics and your record and that?
Yeah, actually, like that's like Coach Malot's biggest thing. Like it was funny when Carson said we were looking to the next game because Coach Malott always says focus one game at a time. So it's kind of weird to hear Carson like,
I was
like, all right,
coach's kid. I was like, if Kurt saw this, he's probably like, what are you talking about?
Coach Malott all year. Like we had a lot of games because of rain delays and stuff where we'd play like 4 or 5 games in a week, and like there was sometimes bigger games at the end of the week than the start of the week probably. And Coach Malott would always be like, I know that end of the week game is important, but he's like, let's focus on Monday. And he was like, after Monday we'll focus on Tuesday. It was just like stuff like that to like keep us like grounded almost, because we knew like we're good, but like baseball, it's a game where it's like even if you're more skilled than them, anything can happen. Like we saw it all year, like weird things can happen all the time. So like it's got to be that moment of, all right, we're good, but we got to show that we're good, so we're not going to get over top.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, well, if you guys, I mean, you were talking about being good. You're going to have to show you're good this Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Now, you guys have had this opponent kind of circled on the map, I guess, on the state rankings, if you will, because they've been sitting right near the top the whole season.
Yes, sir.
Now, what kind of mentality are you taking into this game? Because obviously you had that dog mentality going into that last one, and you took over.
Yeah.
Is that the same kind of mentality you want to take into this one, or is this one going to be a different approach? Because, I mean, this team, not saying anything. You guys are dogs, don't get me wrong, but wow, this is going to be your toughest test.
Yeah, it is. But I think we got Carson Malott on the bump. So,
Nice.
So
that's confidence right there.
So
I love it.
I think obviously he's the best player in our area. Probably
District 9 player of the year right there.
Dude's a stud. But dude's also worked his tail off his whole life. I mean, he's been a baseball guy since he was born. And if anyone wants to question his work ethic, I mean, that's awful, because his work ethic is probably the best I've ever seen out of a high school kid. I mean, he is working his tail off every single day, and so I think we have him on the mound, we're going to be good to go.
I did see a game earlier this year. We covered a game where he got roughed up in the first couple innings, and then you guys came back and ended up winning the game late.
Yeah.
Now, talk about that. When he maybe falls into a little bit of trouble early, what do you guys say to him when he comes into the dugout? What do you guys say to him in the field? Like, obviously, you as a catcher, Brayden, you as a catcher, you got to control that game. Yeah. So what do you say to him if he gets into any kind of trouble? If he gets into any kind of like control issues at the beginning of the game? Yeah. You take that time out, you call time, you go out and you talk to your pitcher. What are you saying in that moment?
So, honestly, we don't do a lot of talk. Like, I don't ever call time for Carson in the middle of a game. But, like, in the dugout, when he comes in after an inning, if he struggles a little bit, I just kind of, like, calm him down, because he's a competitor, so he gets a little worked up. But I just tell him, like, dude, these dudes can't touch you. Like, you've been here before. You've worked for this. Like, you've put in so much time. Like, these kids don't belong in the same field as you. Just stuff like, just hyping them up. And, like, he fills the zone better than kids I've ever seen. Like, his fastball command is insane. Like, so I just like tell him, like, dude, I have the confidence in you. Everyone behind you has the confidence in you. Just go out, take a deep breath, and shove.
Now, Bryce, I mean, when you're not on the bump, you're playing second base. Talk about the adjustment going from pitcher to second base and backing up, a guy that is going to trust his defense a lot. Obviously he's got a lot of strikeouts, but he also pitches to contact. He pitches a lot around the strike zone. So if hitters are aggressive, they're going to put the ball in play. you guys, he trusts his defense. I mean, talk about that as an infielder, the mentality that you have to go through as like a switch. Is it almost like you have to flip a switch?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, because when you're pitching, it's like you're in control a lot of the time. So like, but when you're at second base, like I love watching Carson. Like,
That's awesome.
just having like a front row view of like watching him work, and a lot of times like just like being there, like being his biggest fan, like when he like gets down or something, like just hyping him up, because like I know what that's like. I know what it's like to struggle a little bit. So like being there for him, like also watching him do his thing at the same time, it's fun to be around. Like,
I love the way you guys talk about it. You guys are like in awe. It's almost like he's a
so
god,
good.
you know,
He's
like
so
I love
good.
it.
He's so good.
All right, guys. So I really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Because, I mean, I've taken up a lot of your time. I wasted some of your time
No,
here.
you're good.
I appreciate you guys coming
Thank you.
out, spending some time with us tonight.
I really appreciate it.
Anything else you want to talk about?
being BG on Thursday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make the trip, folks. BG,
2 o'clock.
Thursday, 2 o'clock. Support your Tornadoes. Defiance.
Yep.
They are what, number one?
Number 1 in the state.
Number one in the state, coming for that top crown.
That's right.
All right, it's going to take a lot, guys, but I got faith in you.
Get the job done.
Get the job done.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank
Bryce and Brayden Roggow coming on with us on Heart of Ohio Sports. We're going to step aside, take a momentary time out, but we'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in. All right, and we're back here in Studio Squared live tonight on the Pulse Podcast. Nate Mullins, Joey Krajewski, and Connor Roush, as well as Greg Kinn, our producer extraordinaire. So let's talk a little bit of gambling here, folks. As once again, I want to thank Bryce and Brayden Roggow for coming on with us tonight. We do have a couple more special guests joining us here in just a little bit, but before we get to them, let's talk a little bit of sports gambling, huh?
What's the betting here?
Love it. Love it.
So what are we talking here, Joey? I feel like there's a couple different angles that we can take with this.
Yep.
I've been trying to come up with a segment name for this,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. I just really think that there's an appetite for it right now.
Oh, definitely. And especially with it coming to Ohio, at least by 2023, it's going to explode. And I
for
think
sure.
us getting on it, on top of it quick, is going to be the best for us, too. So.
Yeah. So, all right, let's dive right in, man. NBA action last night as the Celtics took care of business, clinched a spot in what will be their, I think, 26th NBA Finals.
Something crazy.
They're going for their 17th title. That's what I
Or no, the Heat. Yeah, the Celtics won. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Celtics
Yeah,
win, moving on.
27, yeah.
And I don't know how anybody else could honestly look at that matchup between them and the Warriors and pick anybody but the Warriors.
If you pick the Celtics, bozo move. Bozo move.
All right, so I guess that's one of your picks here?
Yeah, I mean, I took Warriors in the second round at plus 600 to win the championship.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, so that's a pretty safe bet, I think, at this point.
Yeah. And then they opened this morning. I think it probably came out right after the game or something like that because Vegas never sleeps. But they opened as 3.5-point favorites at home, which I thought.
That's kind of low.
That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be closer to 4.5, 5 would have been my guess, but 3.5-point favorites to open the series at home. So
You do know one thing, though. I caught an interesting stat earlier today, and it was, did you know that the Celtics are the only team in the NBA with a winning record against the Warriors since Steve Kerr took over?
no.
Really?
Doesn't scare me.
I know. I'm just, to me, for whatever reason, they play the Celtics. The Celtics play the Warriors really well.
It's
They
an
match up well on the wings with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good matchup. I feel like it's going to be better than some people think, but I still think Warriors and 6.
But now we're
Warriors
in
in
championship
6.
mode, and for how the Warriors have been, they had that stretch of what, 3 in a row, 4 in a
three
row
in
with the
5
Cavs,
years?
and then they had
Well, they had
the
5 in a
2
row.
more.
4 with the Cavs and 1 with the Raptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 3 and
So
5
they
years.
know, and they pretty much like the starting lineup there. They've all been there since.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Since when it started.
That core of, I mean, you got Clay, Steph, and Draymond have been there since the beginning, but now you got Andrew Wiggins, who's a savage, and then their big man's interchangeable. So I mean, they play that small ball where they go like Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond at the 5. So
Right.
and that's just so hard to defend.
I like how you go back here and you kind of take a look at the record from the season, and you're like, oh, what's that indicate? And then you see that the Celtics took one game and the Warriors took one game when they played each other this last season.
So, yeah.
It doesn't tell you anything.
It doesn't tell you anything for the season series because they split the season series between the two teams. But when you look at the series between the two over the last 6 or 7 or 8 years, it's kind of weird. The Celtics actually they've taken quite a few against the Warriors.
Yes, but the thing is, they've never played the playoffs before.
That's true.
We're in-
obviously they're on
Yeah.
opposite sides.
Which leads me to believe, which leads me to more. I mean, the Warriors, there are, as much as I used to hate them when they were playing the Cavs, they are so much fun to watch,
yeah.
and they are
How they move the ball and everything.
so good at basketball that it's like Tom Brady. Like everybody hated him when he was going for that 3rd, 4th, and 5th ring, but like at this point, it's just like you just gotta appreciate greatness when you see it, and it's just. Like that 70, even though the Cavs beat that 73-9 team, which I'm so happy about, like that team will go down in history as one of the best teams ever, and they still have that core of guys. So like it's crazy to think about, absolutely crazy to think about.
You know, Steph Curry has, 4 rings now? 4? 3.
Three.
3
I
rings.
believe he has 3.
Okay, he's got 3 rings. I bet he'd trade all 3 of them for that one.
I mean, you'd have to think, right? I mean, 73-9, and you don't get it. You blow a 3-1 lead.
Ask Tom Brady which one hurts the most, or ask Tom Brady if he was hurt more by losing that perfect season, or if any of those Super Bowls meant more than that hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I bet if Tom Brady could go back and trade all the Super Bowl rings that he has for that one Super Bowl, he would.
I'd love to have a perfect season.
That'd be crazy.
I think.
So-
I mean, I'm just
To
saying.
have that in the books.
The Cavs, that championship ages like fine wine. I really feel like every year that passes,
You get that little.
It's better.
you get the reminder,
Yep.
you get the
You're like,
memory. I get to relive my memories of going to the parade.
Yep.
I mean, Greg, I still feel like that's a podcast.
Yeah.
It
but
really needs
the
to be a podcast.
entire story of that day.
You, me, Tommy, Chris. Who else was there? Kevin was there with
Yep,
us.
Kevin was there with us. Your boys
Yeah,
were there
all
with us.
5 of us need to get together and just do a podcast and talk about going to the parade that day.
I've never seen anything like it.
It was
never seen
unreal.
anything
Pictures
like
were
that.
insane.
I mean,
Well, and
streets flooded. I mean,
Cleveland was like, it was chaos, but it was like organized chaos. It was controlled chaos. It was.
It was like shoulder to shoulder people, but somehow we still maneuvered through, like migrated through people, and it kept
happy
flowing,
chaos,
and you
too.
kept moving.
And there was confetti everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
still.
joking when I say that. Literally, as you're turning corners, you're looking up, and it looks like it's snowing, and you're like, where in the hell is this even coming from? How is there confetti? Like, it literally looks like there's confetti coming from the clouds right now. What is going
That's
on?
nuts.
It was crazy. And the smells, I mean, I swear, like every time you turned a corner, you smelled a different kind of smell, whether it was blunt smoke or alcohol or whatever it was. I mean, the city was alive. I've never seen it like that.
and I think it makes it special too for how long it was. That 52-year, 53-year drought.
Yeah.
And so all that just living up to, hey, that's the many years of
So,
celebration.
like I said, that one ages like fine wine when we talk about it. But like Warriors,
Oh yeah.
I feel like, you know, they've got 3 out of 5 titles. They're coming back for their 6th trip to the NBA Finals in the last 8 years.
It's insane.
I mean, it's just
They
dominant.
got to be betting favorites, right?
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
should be.
Though I have to believe they'll probably be favored in every game. That would be my
Really?
guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would make sense. Vegas loves the Warriors.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to be at least 3 to 4 point favorites every home game. And I bet they're around that 1.5, 2 point pick on the road
All right.
in Boston.
Yeah.
That would be
That
my
makes
guess.
sense. Makes sense.
Hey Nate, I think our special guests are here, so why don't we take a break real quick?
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk more. Actually, we'll get to the rest of your sports locks here. Let's go ahead and run through those while we got time here before we get to our guests here.
Awesome. All right, so I got Warriors minus 3.5, total points under 211.5, and then here my favorite one: Warriors to win by at least from 1 to 10 points plus 175. So that's positive money.
That's good money.
Yeah.
So there is
Money,
ways
money.
to make money on the Warriors still.
Yes.
Even though they're favored and they're heavy favorites, you can
Yep.
still make some money somewhere, just not in Ohio.
No. No. Not in Ohio. And then I got a couple player props. Draymond Green over 10 points plus 140. This is the stretch one. Al Horford to score 15 plus points plus 310.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's some good money.
That
Yep.
is.
And he's been pretty somewhat consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, not
The reason I like that is because, I mean, either Warriors are going to play small ball and he's going to be matched up with Draymond and he's got the advantage there, or they're going to put a lesser quality player on him where he's going to be able to score and shoot the basketball because they're going to want to guard those wings.
yeah.
So that's
All
my
right.
thought process during it. And
That
also,
makes sense.
first scorer, Jason Tatum plus 600.
That's some good money.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So I mean, what, you put $10 down
You're winning
and
60
you win
bucks.
$60?
Yeah.
That's, like I said, that's good money.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to hit it big on every bet,
No.
but we're trying to help you win some money here, folks.
Getting the feelers out there.
Yep.
Oh,
And when we
money.
come back a week from now, we'll either be talking about how Joey's a genius or we'll be giving him the.
We'll
what's
just
that,
never talk
what's that
about
called, Greggy?
Nate, is that when I get to introduce
You don't know
you?
shit.
We'll just do what every sports media person does that has horrible takes and just like act like they never happened.
We want to do a segment where we just like check each other on different things. Like when we say something and we just go out on a limb, we're like, we think this is going to happen. And then like we come back a week later and see it, and then we'll play the clip of you saying it, and then it didn't happen, and we'll go, hey, guess what, Connor? You don't know shit.
Uh-oh, guys.
That'd
you know
be
what that
awesome.
means.
You don't know shit. All right, we're going to take a step aside. We're going to take a timeout. You still got any more of those?
Nope, that's it.
Is that
A
everyone?
couple of them are stretches, so
Yeah.
we'll keep them hidden.
We'll keep them hidden.
There's a couple of
We'll
them
go
are
with the
secret.
surefire locks.
Joey's not gonna give away
I feel
all the
good about
secrets.
it, Joey. I feel good. I feel
Thank you,
good.
thank you.
Those are some good locks there, folks. Take advantage of it. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We got a couple more special guests joining us on the Pulse podcast live here in Studio Squared. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back here on the Pulse podcast. Nate Mullins, Joey Krajewski, Connor Roush, and we've got three special guests joining us now as Hunter Yackel, Garrett Spaun, and Nick Palm joining us live on the broadcast. That's right. Both Tiffin baseball teams represented well tonight here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks for coming on with us tonight, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. So I know you guys just got out of baseball practice, and I know you guys, that's a commitment to be able to come straight here. I really appreciate that. So once again, thank you for coming on. So let's talk baseball. We were there this past weekend, and I'm telling you what, that was probably that was the most fun game I've had all year as far as a broadcaster, and I think almost any sport that we've covered so far this year with Heart of Ohio Sports. That was a blast, guys. I mean, talk about, you went up 2-0 in that game, and you had a big lead, well, not a big lead, but you had a lead, and you had Max Paul on the mound, so you had to feel confident, Going into that fifth inning, things started kind of unravel a little bit, and then you go to the sixth inning, and they score a couple more runs, and they get that seventh inning, they get those insurance runs. As a broadcaster, I went into that bottom of the seventh thinking, man, they got to come up with some kind of magic here, And maybe I raised my tone a little bit. Maybe I got a little excited when they got that first walk,
Yeah.
And from that point on, it was like every time you guys got a base hit or a walk or any kind of, my voice just kept getting higher, getting more excited, to the point where people were like, man, you guys, you kept us engaged in that broadcast. And I'm like, they gave it to us, though. They gave us a great game. Just talk about your mentality going into the bottom of the seventh. Who wants to start first?
I'll start.
Nick, you got on base with a base hit, second one to get on. After Blake gets on with that 4-pitch walk, you're coming up into that situation. You guys are down by 3. Mm-hmm. You got a runner on. What mindset? Where are you at?
As a team, we talked about before the inning even started, just trying to pass the torch, just to get base hits. Doesn't need to be anything big, but just talk about passing the torch, one better than the next, trusting your teammates.
Yeah.
About it.
And I had Greg Kinn was in the dugout with you guys. He was running the camera, and he was mic'd up. He had what you got right there, and I had to turn him down because you guys were chirping. You guys were loud. Hey, it was cool. I love it. Honestly, I love every bit of it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to stop doing any of it. But on the broadcast, it was like I heard what you guys were saying as you're coming into the dugout. It's like just 3 runs. And I'm paraphrasing. Just 3 runs. Just 3 runs, guys. So, I mean, that's in baseball, 3 runs is a lot. But you guys had that mentality like, nah, just 3 runs. Garrett, talk about that mindset. I mean, you came up, 2 batters next. Talk about your mindset coming up. What are you thinking?
I mean, I knew I just had to move the runners because he gets on base almost every single time. And then, Blake had that walk, so I just kind of wanted to move the runners.
Yeah. And in that situation, you're just trying to get guys over. You want to get guys into scoring position. You want to try to at least get a run or 2 to get some momentum there. Now, Hunter, I mean, you've been kind of one of those Swiss Army knife kind of guys in every sport. I feel like football, wherever you want to, you're like, hey, coach, wherever you need me, I'll play. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do. In baseball, I get a chance to really see you shine as a catcher behind the plate. I mean, you've got your position and you embrace it, and you're one of the best catchers in this area. But as an offensive player, I think your game gets undervalued because, you just find a way to get on base. You find a way to either move runners over, get on base. I think that's the key to your guys' entire team this year is find a way. There's been times during the season when, you guys lost a couple tough games, couple close games, and I think those games kind of helped in those situations like on Saturday. Just talk about your mindset going into that. I mean, you had to be confident, right?
Yeah, so towards the beginning of the season, it was kind of the opposite of last season. Like, we were finding ways to lose close games. And so coming towards into playoffs, we started piecing together our hits, and we were actually starting to poke the ball a bit. And we were finding the ways to win those close games. So as we got into playoffs, we were just kind of on a roll. And, the train hasn't stopped so far. So
yeah, that's something that I noticed towards the end of the year is, man, you guys started seeing the ball a lot better. You were seeing the ball well all year. It was a beach ball for you, man. 500 batting average all year. But it seemed like a lot of those guys towards the end of the lineup really started to pick up their game. Guys like Dylan Stevens, guys like Reed Warnament, guys like even Caden Otterbacher coming in situations. You guys it seemed like everybody started to get it at the right time. Is that coaching? You guys got a great coaching staff. Matt Coleman's one of my favorite guys to deal with in this community. Obviously, he does a lot for the community with Smile, and he's been involved in all kinds of different stuff with the parks. I worked with him when we did the Music and Art Festival at the park. So I love Matt. He's a great guy. But talk about him as a coach. How does he get you prepared for those situations?
The whole year he's been saying that we're in it. We're in every game, and he knows that we can win it. He's just trying to push us there and get our mentalities to know that we can win those games. And I think towards the end of the year, some of our guys that are playing haven't been playing in the past, so they're starting to get momentum and know what they're supposed to do and how to do it. So I think that's helping them just getting those extra reps in to know what they're supposed to do and figure it out at the end.
That's cool. That's really cool. So I honestly thought that as well. As I'm watching some of these guys, I'm like, this guy's got a good stroke. He's got a good swing. If he can see the ball a little bit better and see where it's at and maybe wait for his pitch, the sky's the limit. I see potential with a lot of these young kids you guys have on the team. And Blake Coleman's just a freshman. You guys got a lot of potential over the next few years, but you guys are seniors. So talk about this for you. This is your last ride here. You don't want it to end anytime soon. So with these guys, obviously you got the young guys that are kind of helping along the way, but you guys have to lead. You have to take these reins and take this ship and guide it where you want it to go. Talk about that as a player. You don't want this to end, right?
No. It's just been fun. That's what I kind of forgot about baseball. I took a couple years off. I just kind of forgot how, team-oriented it is and how fun it can be.
Yeah.
So, it's just been so fun. I don't
For sure.
know what else to say.
Well, and you guys are done with school now. You're graduated. Everybody's done with school, and you're still together. You're still a team. You guys are still bonding. You're still forming new bonds right now. And most people are done playing baseball by now. So just talk about that as a player, Hunter. That's got to mean a lot to you. And going into a game where, you guys got a pretty winnable game against Bristol. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. It's a great ball club, don't get me wrong, but we're pretty excited about the potential on Thursday. I see both Tiffin teams as you got a pretty good chance at winning both those games. So talk about your mindset going into that.
Well, I think one of the biggest things with like team chemistry and going into the game is we've all, because we go to a tiny school, so I mean we've all known each other since first grade, and that really comes down to it where the team chemistry, like we all know what helps a player get up, and when they get down, we know what helps get them. So going into this game Saturday, I think we're just looking to come out quick win. Thursday.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe Mother Nature will push it to Saturday. You're trying to be Nostradamus over here. That's what happened last week. I mean, but no, guys. Joey, you got any questions for these guys? I mean, this is you got a younger brother on the team.
Yeah,
right?
my younger brother's on the team. I want to know who's in your guys' opinion, each answer this. Who's the best chirper on the team?
All right, that's the kind of question. Like, what do you mean chirper?
Who's got the best chirps from the dugout? Whether you guys are like when you guys are batting or out on the field, who's chirping at the other team the most?
I'd probably have to say Hunter. I mean, he's the loudest, so everybody knows when he's talking.
I saw his head go like this right away. He's like, oh, I know they're gonna call me out. That's awesome.
Mine would be your brother Sam.
Yep, I figured that one.
There's been a couple of times where the assistant coach has been like, dial it back a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, at least the umpire didn't have to yell at him. I seen that happen a couple games ago where the umpire's like, hey, you can yell, just not at them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I say it gets. There's some games where it's more ruthless than others, but probably Sam or Brody Cooper. Those two really, they can chirp it up in the dugout.
My favorite games this year were you guys against Old Fort and you guys against Hopewell, because I feel like you guys knew each other really well, and there was a lot of that going on. The chirping across the field. I mean, there's a lot of hometown backyard brawl feel there with those two games. But now talk about you guys, the mentality you have going into this game. Obviously, you think you can win. You know you can win this game. But you can't be too overconfident. You know, you got to come into this game with the mindset that, you know, anything can happen. So who do you, I mean, I'm not trying to play your hand at all, but like, who do you look for in those situations when you need somebody to lead? Is there somebody on the team you look for? Is this a coach maybe on the team that you look for? Or is this maybe just an entire team? You guys are just a unit and you guys come together when you need to.
I mean, if something bad happens, we kind of have that Bama mentality to where we just breathe and move on, and the coaches like to say that all the time, and everybody else likes to say it too. So you hear everybody else saying it, and you gotta do it.
I like it. That's good stuff. All right, so walk-up music. Let's talk. I mean, you guys haven't had a whole lot of it this year because of, you know, obviously smaller town school. But if you had to choose your walk-up music right now, what's your walk-up song?
We had a little bit at the beginning of the year, and it kind of got shut down a little bit because we couldn't find some of the greatest songs. So that kind of got shut down. But when we did have it, I had 5% Tint by Travis Scott.
There you go. Okay.
Go-to.
Garrett, what you rocking to?
I was rocking to My House by Florida.
All right. I like it.
All right.
These are good.
More of an old school guy, so I was Made for Loving You by Kiss.
Ooh, all
Look at you.
All right. You're breaking into the old school vinyls right there. Oh, yeah. I like it. All right. So when you talk about, you know, getting ready for these games, you know, is there any kind of like local eatery that you maybe think about as like, I need to fuel, and I need the fuel to come from this place? Like, what's the place for you if you're like pregame or like maybe game day? Like, all right, I gotta get something from here. Is it you guys have that kind of super? Because when I played football, all right, this is weird, but I always had to have Wendy's fries. I don't know what it is, but it was like I gotta get some fries from Wendy's game day. It could have been 11 o'clock, it could have been lunch, it could have been right before the game, but I had to have Wendy's fries on game day. I don't know what it was, but it was just superstition stuff. You guys have any of that at all? Like any kind of superstitions? Maybe it's not food, but like anything that you get superstitious about on game day?
I mean, not any food for me, but I guess just the routine as a team. Keeping that same routine as we get going just really helps.
All right. Is there any kind of routine that like you do in particular, like you?
Not really.
All right. He's like, no, I want no attention on me. This is all about the team here. Garrett?
I mean, this isn't intentionally, but usually I go through about a bag of seeds a game.
Oh, all right. Seeds. All right. We're into a good question here. What's your flavor?
like dill pickle, the taco ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Zesty's Ranch.
Greg let me in on a little secret. He's like, what's cool is I'll hear him over there exchanging seeds. Like, hey guys, I got some dill pickle. Oh yeah, I got some barbecue over here. And like, hey, check these out. I got pizza. You know what I mean? All right. So, what's your superstition?
I try to just take my mind off the game before the game. So I try to focus the least amount, like going into the games, which probably doesn't sound the best, but it helps me get ready for the games.
Okay. So you just try to take your focus away from where you're at, away from the game. Is there anything you do, like to put yourself in a mindset, or you just like kind of blank out?
Just crack some jokes, just
I like
anything
it.
to
There we
focus
go.
off the game.
There we go. So keep it loose. That's cool. I like it.
That's probably great for the teammates. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. All right. So Joey, you got anything for these guys? I mean,
Man. All right. I got a question for Nick. So having your older brother as a coach, right? So I've been in the opposite. I've been in Sam's spot coaching younger brothers.
Yeah.
What's it like having an older brother on the staff?
I mean, it's fun. It's always fun to have somebody you know or somebody you're related to coach you. So, I mean, I guess he lets me hear it a little bit more if I do something wrong.
Oh, I
or
can imagine
if
that.
if I'm having a bad attitude or something, he
Yeah.
definitely lets me hear it more than a actual coach that I'm not
Awesome.
related to would.
Awesome. Good deal. Garrett, is it a little bit different? Because you're a basketball guy, right? So is it a little bit different going, and you play point, so is it a little bit different going from being able to control the game with the ball in your hand than going to baseball where you're not as in control as much?
A little bit. Like for basketball, if you're doing bad, you can just work harder and get better. But for baseball, like if I'm playing third and I just overthink and overwork, it just doesn't work out that way.
Interesting.
it spirals at that point. You
Yeah.
know? Like you can, in basketball, you can, if you're not making your shot, you can lock in defensively and maybe, focus on another aspect of your game. Whereas, at third base, you overthrow first base one time, it's in your head. And then next thing you know, now you're thinking about overthrowing, so maybe you might underthrow the next one, and now all of a sudden you can't do what you can normally do to kind of get your mind right in those situations. So I can understand that.
All right, Hunter. Have you, two-part question, have you taken a foul tip back off you, and what's the worst place you've gotten hit?
Yeah, I think I get a foul ball right off the helmet every game. And
Oh, yeah.
The umps are usually pretty courteous about it. They're always like, "Hey, are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're all right." Take harder hits than that in football.
Yeah.
The worst spot I've ever had was like on the side of my ankle, right below the gear, and I was like limping the entire game. It was awful. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, that sounds
Oh, that's awful. I see some guys foul one off their foot like that, and it's like, oh, man, that's got to just hurt. So, Connor, you got any questions for these guys?
So I'm a Hopewell grad, and I just got to know, like, how did it feel, especially playoff game? You were able to get over them and have that last inning there to put definitely insurance runs to secure that. But like the two games, especially the second one being real close there at Hopewell, like how did you prepare for that third game taken from those other two games into the season?
I mean, we knew we were in both the regular season games. We've been there a lot throughout the year, and towards the end, we've been starting to figure it out and win those close games. So, I mean, we knew if it was anywhere close that we'd have a chance to pull through and win it. So it really helped.
Right. And then, did Coach Coleman keep you guys pretty like stay in the game and like one game at a time, not overlooking anything else?
Yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of the games are, just one game and then the next. That's what we were talking about today, just Bristolville, and then we'll worry about JFK later, but we're focused on Bristolville right now. And then
Oh, you already know who's going to win the next one. Huh? Look at you. He's
They've
like,
had
I
that
already
one
know who's
circled.
going to be the next one.
They've had a circle.
I like it. So, I mean, all of you guys are multi-sport athletes. Garrett, you said you took 2 years off of baseball. Now, you played as a freshman.
Actually, I didn't play my freshman year, and then sophomore year we had like the COVID year.
Yep.
So I played like probably six of like the games in the summer.
Okay.
And I didn't play my junior year.
And then didn't play your junior year. So you just decided to play this year because
Well, I went and watched these boys play in regionals last year,
I like it.
and I kind of wanted to be a part of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, when you see something like that and you know there's potential for, another run just like you did the year before, that's cool. You want to be a part of that. I mean, that has elements of Kendrick Perkins jumping on with the Cavs and grabbing that last title. Only you're getting some contributions. You're not riding the pine, you know. So, no, I like that. That's cool. I dig it. So, guys, any final thoughts before I let you guys go? I don't want to keep you too long. I know you guys just got out of practice. You're probably like, come on, man, I'm trying to get home. I'm tired. But I really, once again, appreciate you guys coming on with us, spending some time with us. We'll make this more of a habit. I'd like to have you guys on more often if you're down.
This is fun.
cool.
For sure. It's really fun.
It's
Thanks
awesome.
for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, Nick Palm, Garrett Spaun, and Hunter Yankel joining us tonight on the Pulse Podcast here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. We'll be right back after this to wrap things up here in Studio Squared. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Pulse Podcast here on Heart of Ohio Sports. Nate Mullins, Joey Krajewski, Connor Roush, and producer extraordinaire Greg Kinn. Thanks for tuning in here on the Pulse. A couple of great interview sessions. First with Tiffin Columbians, Bryce and Brayden Roggow. And then second we had seniors, Hunter Yackel, Nick Palm, and Garrett Spaun from Tiffin Calvert. Now, I did notice while we were on break that we did have a comment on our video talking about how we should have had Columbian seniors on. Well, trust me, we tried. We wanted to have Preston Keckler on tonight. Ben Gillig actually reached out and tried to get him to come on, but he just wasn't available tonight. So we got the Roggow brothers on. And if you do know a Columbian senior that plays any sport and wants to come on with us, absolutely, reach out. Send us a message on Facebook. We're more than happy to put anybody on. And this is an open forum, so I'm not trying to exclude anyone here. I just want that to be clear. I wasn't doing that on purpose. It's not like we chose Calvert seniors and we didn't choose Columbian seniors.
Right,
Like
it was
we
just an availability.
wanted to have multiple Columbian players on tonight, and Ben Gillig was nice enough to be able to get the Roggow brothers on for us. And we tried for Preston Keckler because I thought he had not only did he have a great game, but he's got a great story to tell. And it would have been a great story for a podcast. So hopefully we can get him on. Maybe we'll get one of the seniors on sometime this week during the morning show for Mulling It Over.
That'd be sweet.
'Cause, I mean, we still got 3 more episodes of Mulling It Over this week. I know that I'm trying to get Kurt Malott on for one of those episodes. So
That'd be nice to get him
fingers
on.
crossed.
That would be nice before the game.
Yep.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
I'm
it'd be nice
hoping
to get him-
before the game we get Kurt Malott on for an interview. I did reach out to him today. I haven't had a chance to read his response, but I am going to be getting back with him later tonight. We'll see if we can line something up for this week. But guys, we got about 10 minutes here before you got to go, and I pretty much think that's going to do it for us after that anyway. So what a great show. This one was a blast.
Those 5
It was.
kids are awesome.
I know.
Awesome.
That was so cool. And I really love the potential of this because this is just the beginning of what we're trying to do with this. It's just the tip of the iceberg. You're seeing the infancy stages of this whole studio process and everything that we're trying to do. But you're going to watch this thing grow. And if you've got any ideas or suggestions or, topics that you want us to talk about, or say there's, maybe you feel like we pay too much attention to baseball, football, and basketball, we should pay attention to, any other sport that you want us to pay attention to, obviously, let us know. Shoot us a message. We'd be more than happy to give the proper attention to whatever we feel like it deserves, because honestly, that's what this is about.
Exactly.
Promotion.
Yep. Who doesn't want to talk about local sports either way?
I could talk about local sports all day long.
Same here.
And I could have Zach Baker on, and we could talk about it all week long.
Yeah, right?
Zach could give you all the stats and run down everything from every sport from like 1954
Yeah,
to
from
today.
1989, he would tell you the starting lineup for both Tiffin teams.
That's crazy. Crazy.
So, anyways, we got a little bit of time here, Joey. I did want to talk. I love the gambling segment that we're doing here, and I want to make this into its own show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is potentially make this to where you have your freedom to be able to take that segment and turn it into an entire podcast. Yeah. Maybe an hour-long podcast of just sports gambling, and you have different guys come on. You have talk with them about sports gambling. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, definitely. And I could talk about national sports and gambling all day long. As bad as it sounds, it's not an issue. Not an issue.
I don't have a problem. I swear I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Guys.
Another thing I thought would be really cool would be like, okay, so we talk about sports a lot, but what about leisure sports?
Oh, bro.
Now this
We
is
could do
this
golfing.
is something like, can you imagine like a gentleman segment where
That'd be sick.
where we just like
Gentlemen.
each week we do a different game. Like say we go play darts one week, or we go bowling one week, or we go play a game of pool one week, or we go golfing, and we just film the whole thing,
Right?
Yeah.
edit it down, and then post it as an
Dude,
episode.
that'd be
Yeah, that
awesome.
would be
How cool would that
That'd
be?
be
And
awesome.
I'm sure there's a sponsor out there that would probably be interested in jumping on board with that. If you want to see these dreams happen, I mean, money makes the world go around.
Gotta get
And if you want to see some epic fails, too, be sure to tune into that.
Blooper reels. Blooper reels will be dynamite.
We said we'd go play these sports.
It
We
might
didn't
be
say
more
we'd
of
be
a
good
that
at
might be more of a comedy thing once we get out there. Like in our head, we're gonna have this great idea of how awesome it's gonna be, and once we get out there, just completely fall apart.
Absolutely.
Which will make it gold, though.
I think that would be pretty cool.
That would be.
And you know what else would be cool? Connor, I see you with your, you're representing today. You got the, not only do you have the NOS energy can sitting in front of you, but you got NOS on your shirt and you're sporting your Roush detailing hat. I see you taking advantage of the camera time. I see that. I like it.
I am.
So what you need, sir, we talked about this a little bit in our group chat. We need to get you a sprint car racing show.
Yes.
How cool would that be?
I think that'd be awesome, especially for how big it is around here.
Running with Roush.
Right?
Something. We'll come up with something.
Maybe the pit talk or something.
Yeah, in the pits with Connor Roush.
Yeah.
Just not the armpits.
Something like that.
Not the armpits, yes.
Pit boy with Connor Roush.
But
Yeah, I think that would be neat too. And I mean, especially with Roush Detailing having ties with the Outlaw, Sheldon Hodenshield, and I mean, racing's a big thing as well up there
In this
with the
area?
national sports, and
sure.
that's everything on dirt, NASCAR, and
there's
that's
an appetite.
one. There is, and that's one sport that I've definitely have really picked up on and invested in. So
yeah, I mean that's
and there's plenty of local people around here too that go to Attica and Fremont, and it's around.
for sure.
It's
And you've
well
got
known.
one of the best speed shops around in Kears here, right
Kiers,
here.
they are amazing.
I mean, you talk about a staple in the racing community for
Yes.
years and
Yep.
decades. You know, that would be something where maybe we have a potential partnership there. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe grease that wheel.
Just the
Kiers.
start of something here.
Literally and figuratively.
So once again, the reason why I bring this up, folks, is because I want to extend the offer to anyone out there as well. If you have an interesting topic that you would like to talk about and you feel like you have enough content where you could put together a weekly podcast, get a hold of us. We've got studio space available and we would love to help you out, folks. It's a big investment to get all this stuff. To get the microphones, to get the equipment, to get everything to make this work right. Not just work, but work right. We figured it out. We've got it to this point where I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
We're getting better. It's going to get better from where it's at. But I think to this point, we figured out a lot of things that you wouldn't have to figure out. And you wouldn't have to make those investments in the microphones and the equipment that you need and the extra people that it takes to produce these things. If you have an idea, we have all of that stuff. All you really need is the space to come in here and do it.
And we got it.
And we have it. So once again, hit us up, folks. You can message us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, send me an email, nmullins, M-U-L-L-I-N-S, at heartofohiosports.com. And we will be more than happy to entertain your ideas and at the very least, shoot you down miserably.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
No, I'm being honest. Honestly, I really want to extend the offer to the community. Anything and everything you can think of. Tommy has a great relationship with the motorcycle community.
Yes.
How cool would it be to do like a weekly motorcycle show
Yeah.
where we just, go riding with Tommy,
Oh, bro, you're tripping. You think I'm
Basically
on something with
go-
2 wheels?
Go on a Harley ride. Oh yeah, he's a Harley
Bro,
guy.
yeah.
He sells Harleys.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Not me. I like 4 wheels. Hell no.
See, I
Well,
kind of
Greggy's got 3.
I was going to say I fall right in the middle there.
Yeah. That's better than 2.
It's a little bit more safe, I think. But hey, man, all I'm saying is there's so many opportunities with what we've established already. There's a lot that we can do with this, and we want to extend that opportunity to all of you because I feel like there's an appetite for this kind of stuff right now.
What's amazing is it's just the beginning.
Oh,
Well,
tip of the
What
iceberg.
can we do?
And Nate, how much would you have killed for this kind of opportunity yourself just a few years back for somebody to be like, hey, I got all the equipment. You got the ideas. You want to come in and put it together? I mean,
If you'd have done this for me 5 years ago, my God.
imagine,
if there was
imagine
something like
where,
this 5 years ago.
yeah, imagine where you'd be right now.
I mean, it would have saved me a lot of headache. That's for sure. That's for sure.
so it's
But
definitely something nice we can do for others.
honestly, like I said, folks, I want to extend the offer to all of you. So please get a hold of us. And if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. We need more subscribers on YouTube, folks. We need subscribers so we can do more cool stuff with our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Because
we
what we
got-
want to do is be able to stream both teams when it comes to football season.
Well, we've got over 2,000 likes and followers on Facebook, so we just need some of those people to migrate on over to YouTube.
That's it.
and
We've
hit the
got
subscribe button.
2,500 followers on
It's like-
Facebook.
It's like, I know people love watching this on Facebook, but just a quick second, just go over and subscribe real quick.
Exactly. If we could just get half of you that are following us on our Facebook page to subscribe, and I mean subscribe on our YouTube, it would be over 1,000 followers. And that's where we need to get. We need to get to that mark so we can do some really cool stuff with our YouTube channel, including the ability to stream to 2 channels at the same time on our YouTube channel.
Yep, really help.
It would help a lot. So, folks, once again, make sure you share the video. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, share the video. It helps to extend our reach. And then follow and subscribe on all of the different platforms. Our Instagram has really taken
Go follow it.
It's definitely gotten a lot of publicity over the last couple of weeks, especially this last week. It got a lot of run.
Yeah, it went crazy.
Well, one thing I saw, you shared the picture of each of the district champions when they won their district championship. I'm going through and I'm seeing some of the people that like it, and then I go and I read their stories, and they're sharing it in their story. And a lot of these are baseball
That's
players
awesome.
on the team sharing that same picture
Yeah.
on Instagram. So, like I say, folks, make sure you get like and subscribe and follow us on all the different social media platforms, because we're trying to help promote these kids and promote these athletes in this area.
Right, and like you talked about, Nate, the ability to do multiple games at once, that's the kind of situation that we find ourselves in here this week, where you've
Exactly.
got 2 baseball teams, both Tiffin teams, completely way far apart from each other. There's just no way we could be there at the same time in both places. So you get those subscriptions up, we get those follows up, we can get more people out there, we can bring you multiple games at the same time.
That's the idea. That's the goal for football season. That's where we want to be. We want to be able to stream both Tiffin schools to our YouTube channel. So in order to do that, we have to get to 1,000 followers. So please make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Anything else, guys? I mean, that's pretty much it.
Should we do a challenge to hit 1,000 followers? Like once we hit 1,000 followers, we do something?
I'm down. What do you got in mind? I mean, anything that...
Spicy chicken wings?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Like what kind of spicy we talking here?
Like, you know Hot Ones, right?
Uh-huh.
Like we go on that website, Last Dab,
Or da bomb.
The Bomb.
Oh.
I have some of that at Madison's. Da
Hey,
bomb.
hey, I got the sauce.
He's like, "Yeah, wait. I got this.
Hit 1,000
Hold
followers,
on.
we'll all eat a million Scoville unit hot sauce.
Hit 1,000 followers. Joey will eat 1,000.
No, we're all doing it. Hell no, we're all doing it. I've ate that thing way too many times.
All right, well,
I'll eat it again for 1,000
or
subscribers.
maybe how about a Pocky one chip challenge or something?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm
Give these viewers what they want.
I don't know, man.
Man,
My
Actually-
kid did that one, and he
Me
ate literally a piece of it and almost cried.
Hey, Greg, didn't Nate say he'd eat potato chips for a week if we hit 1,000 subscribers this
Yeah,
morning?
I'm pretty sure he said dry rub,
Hey,
dry rub
that's exactly what we said this morning. Yeah,
It's like,
so
listen, folks, we get 1,000 subscribers, we'll do something that's going to make us cry.
something will be done if we can make it to 1,000 subscribers. What that is, well, you'll have to find out.
Bro, if we did it tomorrow, I'm going to be
If
sick.
it happens, I was going to say, if it happens quickly, maybe we'll let you pick what happens.
Once again, folks, it takes 2 seconds. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on all of our social media platforms. Share the video on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to our special guests today, Bryce and Brayden Roggow, as well as our special guests from Tiffin Calvert, Nick Palm and Hunter Yakel, as well as Garrett Spaun. Thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Thanks to our co-hosts here,
Yeah,
Joey
thank
Krajewski,
you.
Connor Roush, and our producer extraordinaire, Greg Kinn, for manning the dials and keeping us live and on the air and keeping our microphones working. Because, hey, that first couple minutes was a little shaky, but we got things going. We got it rolling, and I tell you what, that was a fun time. Thanks again for everybody for tuning in and for coming on with us. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Pulse Podcast.